Dobry večer. I'm sure I've said that wrong, but I have to say it that way because tonight the challenging museum is the National Archaeological Museum of Prague. And we're delighted that this is actually happening tonight. Of course, the procedure will be the same as usual. 3 marks for each object and a total of 20 in the program we have at our disposal. And here are the 3 experts who are meeting the challenge from the Prague Museum. First of all, our old friend Mortimer Wheeler, and then next to him, Professor Sean Riordain, who says, apart from Czech, that I can never pronounce his name in Irish. There it is. And then thirdly, Professor Gordon Childe, who is Director of the Institute of Archaeology in London and our foremost authority in Western Europe on Central European archaeology. And now here is a photograph for you of the National Museum in Prague. And here you see the keeper-in-chief of prehistoric archaeology, Dr. Neo Stopny, who has brought over the objects that you are seeing tonight with Mrs. Adams of the BBC, who arranged this challenge with him during a recent visit to Prague. In this snow-covered square is a statue of the good King Wenceslas, which you are seeing from this balcony of the museum. And now here is Dr. Neo Stopny himself.
Good evening.
Whom we welcome and we're delighted to have with us. And he's the challenger with his museum. You've seen the people who are answering the challenge, and here is the first object, which is made of bronze and is greenish in color. This is what it is. And now, Sir Mortimer, would you like to look at this first?
Ah.
Lovely, isn't it?
A very spirited animal, Glyn. And obviously like our spirited chairman from the Celtic fringe. Now, how are we getting on? All right? It's a Celtic horse. Stony silence. Belonging to the early Iron Age. BC.
Well, you've got somebody on the Celtic fringe on your own fringe.
Well, now, I'm going to pass this, I'm going to say, pass this to the actual Celtic fringe, Professor Riordain.
Have you ever seen it before, Fawn?
No.
No, neither have I. It's lovely, isn't it?
It's very nice figure. A nice piece of bronze work, very nice patina. It may, my first guess would have been the same as Sir Mortimer's. That was Celtic fringe, Latin. On the other hand, it might be several other things.
What?
Don't we condone
what? Now, Professor Childe.
Well, I believe, too, that it's of the Celtic stock, but I should think it was a bit earlier than Professor Sean Riordain has suggested, and I would tip it for being Hallstatt.
Well,
also 700 to 500 BC.
Well, thank you very much. I was just going to ask you to
It's a
give some
horse,
dates.
by the way.
It's a horse.
Nobody's
Well, now,
said...
Sean, what do you think?
On that.
What?
It's the Hallstatt-Latin overlap.
All right. Well, I don't think it is. I don't think it is for a moment, Jewel. Anyhow, it's from Abrani, and it's Hallstatt.
Oh.
Yes, very good. So I'm going to give you 3 marks. 3 marks for Childe, and only 2 marks for the other 2 members of the panel, but there's no differential way of marking. Now, here we are with the next object, which is of stone, and when I saw it again tonight, I knew what it reminded me of. I knew that it was like Sir Mortimer in the film that is being shown at the present moment on old Bernstein's Granada ITA. There we are.
Do I shave that every morning?
Well, it looks like a brigadier, don't you agree? Celtic brigadier. This is what it is. Now, this is an extremely valuable object, and as you pass it round, could you please, Professor Riordain, could you show it to the viewers? Please. Thank you very much. There you are.
Handsome chap.
Yes. Now, perhaps you can't see it yourself, but tell us what you think it is.
I presume I'm handed this because I'm the only one without the similar appendages. Facial, I mean. I take it, again, that it's Celtic, and that it's is a Celtic sculpture, possibly a god. Date, late centuries BC, possibly about 1st century BC, possibly a little earlier. It's unusual in the very highly stylized moustaches and so on, but it slightly reminds me of some of the...
Where did it come from?
I take it comes from Czechoslovakia,
Why?
because it's in this program.
Well, I mean, really.
And I believe that it is, I suspect that it is very unusual indeed in Eastern Europe. In fact, very unusual east of the Rhine.
What does Professor Childe think?
Well,
It's
it's
often been east of the Rhine, more than we
pretty
have.
unusual anywhere.
Ah.
But I happen to know, because I've seen it before,
The heads are usually chopped off, aren't
that
they?
it comes from Czechoslovakia. It's one of these superb examples of the way barbarians, and particularly our Celtic friends, our colleagues here,
Go on.
stylized the human visage and never tried to make a real portrait out of it, but presented an idealized
What sort of absolute
generalization
dates would you give?
of a human figure. I would date it, it's certainly Latin, and say 200 to 100 BC is my...
Two things I want to say
is
about
my feeling.
Really?
Yes, there are two things I must say about this, and the first is...
Not a brigadier?
As it happens, in 10 days' time, I'm going to show a slide of this in the city of Cheltenham as an illustration of Celtic art. Cheltenham has been warned. And the other thing is this, that this is one of the two best examples I know of illustrations of the way in which an emphatic moustache can redeem a somewhat intractable countenance.
Thank you very much.
Like Corbridge head.
Good. Well, now the experts got that right. We've got to 6, and here is the next object, which is pottery and sort of grey-green in, no, sort of grey-black in colour. This is what it is. Could we ask now Professor Childe to start with this part?
Well, this one I don't think I ever have seen before.
Oh, that's why it's been given to me.
But I've seen many similar ones, and they're what my Hungarian colleagues would call a pechel bowl. And
Don't look at me, you explain to viewers what that means.
belong to what I should call late Neolithic. Say about 2000 BC.
What are they used for?
I don't think they're lamps. The characteristic feature are these two knobs in this division into two parts, but what they were for, nobody...
No, it's very rare, this division in two parts, isn't it? That kind
in
of pottery?
Hungary, there are a fair number of them.
No, I meant in prehistoric pottery generally. Is it meat and two veg, do you think?
No, we have these lamps in...
It's not a food bowl.
Not a food bowl, I don't think. Perhaps you put your meat in that side and the vegetables in the other? That's just a guess.
Well, But you say it's a Neolithic bowl, and you put it at, what did you say?
Oh, a bit before 2000.
Mhm.
Not very much.
Now, Sean, what do you think? Quite wrong, you think that?
I have no idea. The only thing I have to say is about the function. If it was a lamp, there should be, I should take it, some perforation there,
Yes.
as for instance in the Ballinderry lamp, but there is no such perforation. Therefore, the oil couldn't get through to the wick.
Why are those things got flat tops to them?
Ah,
And I don't know, and I don't think
I don't know.
anybody knows, but why? Isn't it rather curious?
It's surely a perfectly ordinary salad bowl.
The salad bowl.
If you have your
What's in there?
spoon and fork there, and two kinds of salad. Why not hors d'oeuvre, if you like? But you can invent 100 reasons. Nobody can prove you're wrong.
And when was the lettuce introduced to Czechoslovakia?
Oh, in 2000 BC, as Professor Gordon Childe implied.
Well, they've made this into 2000 BC, which is what the Czech National Museum makes it, an Neolithic divided bowl of a very interesting and curious kind. Well, now we've got to 9. We must defeat them somehow. Now, here's the 4th object, which is made of bone. And this is what it is. Now, Sir Mortimer, what do you think? Be careful which way you hold it up.
Not very much, actually. If it's a piece of sculpture, it just shows how the ancient and the modern have completed the circle.
I see no circles.
Well, yes.
Or do I?
What on earth is it? It's either bone or ivory. Not getting very much encouragement from the chairman, are we? It's a piece of sculpture.
I'm on the other side.
A piece of sculpture in bone or ivory
Very
of a
good.
very remote period.
Very good.
All right?
Yes. Sean?
I think this is one of the things that was published once many years ago in the Illustrated London News.
Well, that could be said of a very large number of things.
That it's one of
Over
these
the last 50 years.
related to the Venus of Willendorf, but very little left of the Venus. Is
Yes.
that correct?
This is not sponsored television. Sir Mortimer appears on ITA, but we can't.
And it's Gravettian.
I've deleted the reference to the journal.
All right.
Gravettian, well, nobody will understand
Well,
why.
it's Old Stone Age art.
Old Stone Age
And
art.
at that time, if I remember right, it was described
What do you think
as
it represents
pars
is what we
pro
want to
toto.
know.
I think by this time the listeners or the viewers have very little doubt whatsoever. It's a female figurine with that has become extremely conventionalized.
Do you know many women like that?
Now.
Now, Professor Childe, your wider.
Well,
Your
I
apparent
agree
experience
entirely
than any
with
of us.
Professor Riordain. Reviewers might not think this was a female figurine because it is conspicuously lacking in any face. But that is, of course, characteristic of these rather early pictures. The really significant things are the sexual parts, and the breasts, at any rate, are conspicuous enough.
Date, do you agree?
Oh, yes.
What?
Gravettian.
Anywhere between 20 and 12,000 BC.
Yes.
According to the radiocarbon
Pars
Thank you
pro
very much.
toto, I think it was described as.
Yes. Well, there we are. The experts got that correctly again, put it in the Upper Paleolithic and gave the dates that you saw. I'm giving them 3 marks. And now we come to the next object, which is made of gold.
No.
Oh, the experts are now muttering among themselves, which is a splendid sign.
So much I can tell you.
This is what it is. Now, Professor Riordain, would you like to start with this?
Why me? It's filigree work on gold, and
It's
I
gold, yes.
would imagine that it's one of these things done.
Do show it to the viewers.
I'm sorry.
Yes, no, not at all. It's looking at the
I
screen.
would imagine it's one of these things done under Byzantine influence. Date, I'm a little doubtful of, but in 6th, 7th, 8th century, sort of. date.
Gordon, what do you think? Professor Childe, what do you think?
Well, I come to much the same conclusion as Professor Riordain. This beautiful beaded work and filigree work is quite, I should say it was early Slav, and perhaps a century later than Riordain suggested.
What did he say?
Six,
Perhaps
seven,
a
eight.
century later than Riordain suggested.
you say
It could be on to 1,000.
8th to 9th.
Now then,
Is there another one, Glyn? It ought to be one of a pair.
not with us at the moment.
To
Do
fit
you
on,
insist on wearing both?
To fit on an ear of ordinary size. Not mine. I agree with Professor Childe that it belongs to the last, to the 9th, 10th century. It's a moon-shaped object.
Why are you so sure of the date?
Well, one knows these things, you know, Glyn, and when you're as old as I am, you will know them too. But it's a moon-shaped, an ancient
But you
charm.
see, viewers don't merely want to know about your antiquity. They
Yeah, but this particular
Is it really Byzantine, you think?
It's what you call sub-Byzantine.
Yes.
It's Central European Byzantine, from Czechoslovakia, if I'm not mistaken. But it is an earring of the 9th, 10th century.
Good. Thank you very much. Well, they don't seem to be able to get anything wrong, these people. They must have picked the wrong paddle, I think. Now, here we come to the next object, which is green in color, made of bronze. This is what it is. Would Professor Childe like to start this? It's a nice thing.
Obviously, it is made of bronze, and I can't see any traces of casting in a two-piece mold, so I presume it's been cast sur perdu. It is a very lively sort of little steer. And as a sheer guess, I would say also that it was probably the sort of thing one made in the Hallstatt period. I think there's something like it in the celebrated grave at Bichiskala. What do you think, Shaw?
Professor Riordain. What have we got so far? Hallstatt, Bichiskala.
Mr. Childe may be right. If I
Why do you say may?
may be right, because it could also be Latin.
You've never heard of it.
Not all, neither did you. Here you are.
No, I. I should say it's too realistic for so early a period, and I should say it's Roman, of the Roman period. A bull, there are many thousands of them in the Roman Empire. They were associated with water, with springs and wells and that kind of thing, water gods.
What are you related to?
I don't know what the museum dates it to, but I'll tell you what it is. It's of the Roman period, from Bohemia or thereabouts.
Date?
All right?
Date?
Roman.
Well, I mean, good heavens.
Oh, well, the early centuries A.D. You can't date that poor, wretched animal. It might be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th century.
Back to Professor Riordain. Now, here we have a dichotomy between the experts.
Well,
Sure,
I
in
mean,
the dichotomy.
You don't agree with that, old boy.
It's a bull and a bull.
Well,
you
yes,
know,
I know.
mean,
Everybody says
either
it's
of my
a bull,
colleagues
and
may
one
be
says
right,
it's a
but
Hallstatt bull, and the other says it's a
I
Roman
felt
bull.
inclined to say Latin, and I felt inclined to say Late centuries BC.
It's not an Irish bull, anyway.
But there are ones like it.
Well, now, here we have a fascinating problem with the experts all disagreeing. Professor Childe, Hallstatt. Oh, it won't stand up. Professor Riordain, Latin, wasn't it?
Latin. Late Latin, because there was no early Latin.
Oh, you're
Professor Emeritus Wheeler,
Because there was no early
Roman.
Latin.
Oh, yes, undoubtedly.
Yes.
And Sean and I are really in agreement. He said very late Latin.
Well, you can't reach over to Professor Childe. You would all be in agreement, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's Roman, undoubtedly.
4th century Roman. Now, 3 experts, only 1 right, 1 mark.
Oh,
This is my new system. Now, here's the next object, which is made of pottery. And how engagingly is it made of pottery? This is what it is. Now, Sir Mortimer.
Well,
What about this little bull?
Yes, there's no justice in this world.
No.
Well, thank heavens we have a navy. I suppose Bohemia has a navy, too. Well, this is a pot in the act of surrendering with its arms right up. It's a
I
lady
don't know why
pot.
you're talking about the navy, but go on.
It's a lady pot.
A lady pot?
It's a pot I should think of the Neolithic period,
Why?
because it is too bad to be anything else.
Have you been in these areas?
It's a handmade pot. But I would pass this on, if I
Through
may,
Professor Childe.
through Professor Riordain to Professor Childe.
Well, I too think it's a lady pot. If you mustn't look too carefully at the back side of it.
I wouldn't read.
But
Only
you see,
suggested that.
the breasts are quite conspicuous. And it has its arms up, though perhaps not in surrender, as Sir Mortimer has suggested.
I know very few ladies that look like that.
Very few who surrender.
You might think the arms were hollow, but they're not. They each contain a little cup. In view of these little knobs and things around it, I should put it to the what I think our Czech colleagues call the Jordanova culture. We used to call it Jordansmul, but of course the country has now been transferred to Poland, and we must give it a Slavonic name. And that would again put it about the same time as the, or perhaps a bit earlier than the bowl we had before, say 2200 BC.
Now, Professor Riordain, what do you think?
What do you think?
Is it a lady? Is it old? Is it an old lady?
If it's Jordan's mole, it's Neolithic and it's early. On the other hand, these things occur on Lausitz pottery, but I take it Professor Childe is always right in that it is in fact Neolithic.
Yes.
Now, I concur.
Yes.
But I don't know who's concurred with what. But it is quite true, as you saw. It is a Neolithic pot, from what Professor Childe said. Now we've got to 1900, 19 marks, and there's only 1 to go. And here's the next object, which is bronze. And very easy. This is what it is. Now, Professor Riordain, would you like to start with these very nice things? I'm sure you'd like to have these in Ireland.
I'd love to have them in Ireland.
Ah.
I would then declare they were Celtic, and I would declare that they were part of a chariot. Would that be right?
What sort of date would you put them?
Oh, well, now, if they appeared in Ireland, somewhere in the late centuries BC.
Somewhere in the what?
Late centuries BC.
In Ireland.
Yeah. if they appear
But
here.
we've transferred them in some amusing little conversation we've had to Ireland.
I don't quite know how, due to that, Mr.
Let's
Chairman.
put them back into Central Europe.
And I would suggest they're Hallstatt. Would that?
Mr. Childe, what do you think?
Well, it all depends what Professor Riordain means by Hallstatt, because, of course, they are. This is the so-called Hallstatt duck, you see. But unfortunately, this creature started flapping about in Central Europe long before people started using the iron swords and so on, which we in this country associate with Hallstatt.
What sort of date would you put them?
I would put them perhaps about as early as 800 BC, therefore. They are quite sure that Professor Riordain was right and thinks that they're the top of the pole of a chariot.
Now, we've got to top of a pole of a chariot and 800 BC.
Well, these things, of course, do occur on chariots, model or presumably real ones, too.
Model ones, too, you think?
Model ones, too.
Yes.
On wheels. There are plenty of examples of them.
Yes.
From Central Europe and from Italy.
Yes.
And 723 BC would be a sort of central date for them.
Your dating is getting very accurate tonight, I must say. Well, now, there we are. The panel have got these very charming... Oh, they're tinkling away. These things right. The date. So there they've got to their target. And just as well, because there are no more objects, except this one, which I'm producing for you there, and not showing to the panel. By the way, may I say now that these objects you've been looking at, and which have been brought over from Czechoslovakia, are going to be on view in the British Museum from tomorrow morning for the next 5 days by the kind courtesy of the trustees of the British Museum. So there they are. For the next 5 days, they're in the British Museum for you to look at. But this last thing we're showing you, and not showing the panel, here it is. It's a lovely silver chalice. It's reconstructed from there down. But the top part of it, this silver gilt chalice, it's found in a grave at Glyn in Bohemia, and it was found in 1864, nearly 100 years ago. The grave was considered to be that of the great Hussite leader, great Hussite Protestant leader, Andrew Prokop, who was killed in battle in 1434. And a wooden copy of this chalice was made as soon as it was found, and it was sent by the Protestant Church of Glyn to the Protestant Church in Edinburgh, whatever that may mean, in 1864. And Dr. Noah Stupny is most anxious to know where this has got to in Scotland, because it probably has a better reconstruction of the whole thing than is available at this present moment in this object. So that if anybody in Scotland, or anywhere else for that matter, has been engaged in using this chalice in ritual, sacred or other uses in the last 100 years, may we please know about it in the BBC and then eventually in the Archaeological Museum in Czechoslovakia. Well, that's what you want to know, isn't it? To find out precisely what has happened to the original constitution of this object. Well, now, there we are, and that's the end of our program tonight, except that the objects are at your disposal in the British Museum for the next few days. Now, in a fortnight's time, the program will again be back to deal with pictures, problems from pictures, the Metropolitan Museum of New York this time, and the panel will consist of Stephen Bone, Sir Gerald Kelly, and Dr. Mary Woodlaw. And your chairman on that occasion will be John Betchman. I shall be away in France, but I hope to be with you again in a month's time. And until then, on behalf of all the people who performed tonight, and on behalf of Dr. Noah Stupny, I say good night and Dobru noc, is that right? I don't know, but anyhow, that's what I've tried to say that. Anyhow, goodbye.